Deep within our planet's oceans, there resides an intelligence so alien it challenges our very definition of the word. A creature with 3 hearts pumping blue, copper-based blood through a body so fluid it can pour itself through the tiniest of cracks. I am talking, of course, about the octopus, a true marvel of evolution. But of all its strange and wonderful features, it's the 8 sucker-laden arms that truly capture our imagination. These sinuous appendages, each seemingly possessing a will of its own, bring us to a fascinating question. Does an octopus have favorite arms? Now, at first glance, this seems simple. We humans are intimately familiar with having a dominant hand. The world, from scissors to can openers, is largely designed for the right-handed majority. But trying to apply this concept to an animal with a radically different body plan and a nervous system that is, by our standards, profoundly alien, is where the real journey begins. For anyone picturing an octopus diligently using its right hand, or right arm, I should say, to unscrew a jar or poke at a new shell, the reality is far more complex and, frankly, more astonishing. Extensive research, particularly studies watching octopuses in their natural, wild habitats, has largely debunked the idea of octopus-handedness as we know it. When scientists observed various octopus species, from the vibrant coral reefs of the Caribbean to the sun-dappled waters of the Atlantic, they found a remarkable degree of ambidexterity. There's no consistent, predictable preference for the left or right side of their body. But this lack of what we call lateralization doesn't mean that all 8 arms are used equally and interchangeably for every single task. Instead, scientists have uncovered a more subtle and functional division of labor among these incredible limbs. Imagine an octopus gliding across the seabed. It's on a mission, maybe hunting for a crab or finding a more secure den. As it moves, a clear pattern of arm usage starts to emerge. Its rearmost arms, the ones trailing behind its body, are often busy with the business of locomotion. They propel the creature forward, sometimes using a rolling motion that looks like a biological conveyor belt, or a stilting action, where the body is held high above the seafloor on straightened arms, as if walking on stilts. Meanwhile, the front 4 arms are the explorers, the manipulators, the vanguard of the octopus interaction with its world. These are the arms you'll most likely see reaching into crevices, investigating strange new objects, and performing the delicate and often complex maneuvers needed for foraging. Studies have actually quantified this preference, showing that the front arms are used in approximately 60 to 64% of all observed actions. It's a tale of 2 halves, the back arms for moving, the front arms for doing. But here's the crucial part. This division of labor is not absolute. One of the most astounding things about octopus physiology is the sheer versatility of each individual arm. Every single one of their 8 appendages is capable of performing the full repertoire of octopus behaviors. This includes an incredible range of deformations, like elongating to several times its resting length, shortening, bending in any direction, and twisting. This built-in redundancy is a massive evolutionary advantage. In the wild, a run-in with a predator, like a shark or an eel, can easily result in the loss of a limb. But for an octopus, losing an arm isn't like a carpenter losing their favorite saw. They don't lose a specialized tool. They simply have 7 other, equally capable arms ready to take over any task. To really understand why this is, we have to go deeper into the inner workings of the octopus nervous system, a structure so different from ours that it redefines what a brain can be. While an octopus does have a central brain, located between its eyes, this is not the sole command center for its body. In fact, a staggering 2/3 of an octopus neurons are not in its head at all. They're distributed throughout its 8 arms. Think about that for a second. The majority of its processing power is out in its limbs. Each arm is endowed with a large axial nerve cord that runs its entire length. This cord acts as a sort of mini-brain, giving the arm a significant degree of autonomous control. This is the reason behind a slightly unsettling but scientifically powerful demonstration. A severed octopus arm can still react to stimuli. It can recoil from a painful touch, and its suckers can still grip things, all without any input from the central brain. This distributed intelligence means the central brain doesn't need to micromanage every tiny movement of every single sucker on all 8 arms. That would be an impossibly complex computational task. Instead, the central brain can send a high-level command, something like, "Reach for that crab over there." The arm itself then takes over, executing the complex sequence of muscle contractions and sucker engagements required to carry out the task efficiently. The central brain is like a CEO who delegates a project to a highly competent manager, trusting them to handle the details. And recent research has shown this system is even more sophisticated than we thought. Scientists have discovered that the axial nerve cord in each arm is segmented. This segmentation allows for incredibly precise control over different parts of the arm, creating a spatial map of its suckers. You can picture it as a series of interconnected processing units, each responsible for a particular section of the arm. This is what allows for the fluid, graceful, and seemingly effortless movements that characterize these creatures. It's a masterclass in decentralized control. And we haven't even gotten to the suckers yet. The suckers that line each arm are not just for gripping. They are extraordinarily complex sensory organs, each one a marvel of biological engineering. Scientists have described them as being equivalent to a human's nose, lips, and tongue, all combined into one. Why? Because these suckers are packed with chemoreceptors. This allows an octopus to taste and smell whatever it touches. This is a critical ability for an animal that often hunts in dark, murky environments or reaches into crevices where it can't see. It can identify prey, detect predators, and navigate its surroundings through touch alone, gathering a rich tapestry of chemical information from its environment with every contact. What's more, each sucker can also move independently, adding yet another layer to the octopus's dexterity. The neural map of the suckers, a concept scientists call sucker optopy, facilitates this incredible sensory motor ability, allowing the octopus to process this flood of tactile and chemical information in real time. Now, while this model of front versus rear arm preference is well documented in wild octopuses, the scientific community isn't entirely in agreement on every detail. There are some conflicting clues. Some earlier studies, especially those conducted in laboratory settings, have hinted at the possibility of a dominant eye and, connected to that, a preferred arm for specific tasks. One intriguing study even suggested that when hunting, octopuses show a preference for using their second arm from the middle. Why the discrepancy? It might come down to the difference between observing an animal in a controlled lab versus its natural habitat. In a tank, an octopus might develop routines or a form of handedness simply because its environment is simplified and the tasks it performs are repetitive. In the wild, however, the world is chaotic and unpredictable. In that context, the ability to adapt and use any arm at a moment's notice is likely a much more valuable trait than being specialized. Then there's the anecdotal evidence from aquarists and researchers who work closely with these animals every day. Some have reported that individual octopuses seem to have bold and shy arms, certain limbs that are more forward in exploring new objects, while others tend to retreat or hang back. These observations, while not as rigorously scientific as large-scale studies, add yet another layer of fascinating complexity to our understanding of these enigmatic creatures. This entire field of study isn't just an esoteric pursuit for marine biologists, either. The remarkable abilities of the octopus have captured the attention of engineers and roboticists. The dream is to create soft robots that can mimic the incredible flexibility and dexterity of an octopus arm. Imagine robots that could perform delicate surgical procedures from the inside, or slither through the rubble of a collapsed building in a search and rescue operation. By understanding how an octopus controls its boneless, hyper-redundant limbs, scientists hope to develop new control algorithms and robotic designs that are far more adaptable and resilient than anything we have today. So to come back to our original question, do octopuses have favorite arms? The answer, much like the creature itself, is not a simple yes or no. They don't exhibit the kind of fixed left or right-handedness that we see in humans. But they do have a clear and practical functional preference. They use their front arms for exploring and manipulating their world, and their rear arms for moving through it. But this isn't about one arm being inherently better than another. It's a smart, efficient strategy for navigating and interacting with a complex three-dimensional environment. The true marvel, the real story, lies in the distributed intelligence that governs these arms. The octopus mind isn't confined to its central brain, but extends into each of its 8 limbs, creating a being that is both a unified whole and a collection of cooperating, semi-autonomous parts. To watch an octopus move is to witness a silent symphony of motor control, a potent reminder that intelligence on this planet comes in many wondrous forms, and that some of the most profound minds are found in the most unexpected of places.